I've had a massive tidy up, and in this video we're going to have a crack at dropping in these forgotten beams. Let's get these blocks out of the way first. Now you might be asking why I'm doing this, and that is a good question. The short answer is peace of mind. If you want a long answer, you can watch all of my backlog of videos. If you haven't got time for that, I'll give you a quick summary. You see, I had this place built by a main contractor, and a main contractor uses a certain builder's merchants. And something a normal DIY wouldn't know is that everything goes through the builder's merchants. And what you can do is give them your plans, and they'll give you an itemised list of everything that you need, and they'll be able to get it from here, there and everywhere. So they will use their buying power to get everything cheap, and then I assume they mark it up a little tiny bit, and then they make a little bit of profit. So yeah, you can get your concrete directly from the concrete supplier, or you just go through your builder's merchants. So you will find that most builders or contractors, they don't shop around. I'll explain exactly what it is in a second, but this block and beam floor, it come through my contractor, it come through the builder's merchants, come from the block and beam supplier. So this is me, the customer. I then give the plans to the builder. He then gives it to the merchant then gives it to the block and beam supplier. They calculate everything out. They've got their own in-house structural engineer team. They then supply it to the merchant at a discounted rate, a certain percentage, and then the merchant will then sell it on to the builder, and then they will add a certain percentage, and then the builder will then supply it to you, and they will add a certain percentage. The problem with that is the more convoluted a process is, the easier it is to go wrong. Now you could, little old you, go straight to the supplier, but you will not get it as cheap as these two people get it. Do you like his cowboy hat? Now, I didn't have a project manager for this. I wasn't meant to be project managing. I was meant to leave it up to the contractor, and I ended up getting involved more than I should have done, but I didn't have full control over everything. So I didn't get to see the actual plans for this floor, basically, but after they left, I realised that it wasn't quite right, and I used my brain. But if I would have dealt directly with the actual supplier, then I would have realised it before. But it's just the way it is, and now I'm fixing it. So if you take this side, basically, the ones that are close together, this is where a shower's going, so it can't have any flex in it, and crack your shower tray. Walls go in here, that's a triple beam. Obviously it alternates across triple beam where a wall is. Another shower, all like this, and then here is supposed to be another wall. So there was no triple beam. It's supposed to alternate. The only reason why it doesn't is because of this. So they couldn't get the vertical one in, so they had to move it over. I understand that. That should have been seen on the plans by the block and beam supplier though. And then come over here again. We've got a triple for a wall, and then it alternates. From here to there is wrong. I can understand exactly why the mistake has happened, because there is a foundation just here. And that's only to connect that foundation that runs that way to that foundation that runs that way. It's just to tie in the two sides, basically. So the block and beam supplier mistakenly assumes that there was going to be a wall underneath this supporting it, but there isn't. I will build a stud wall here. You're probably wondering, is it really worth it? Well, if you take this is the maximum strength, and then everywhere else it alternates because it just needs to be stronger because of the actual width of it. From here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horizontal in a row. So that means that this area is the weakest. Not only is there a wall going there, it's only a stud wall, but I will have the soundproofing, so it will be heavier. On this side, I will have a bath, and it's probably going to be one of them really heavy stone ones that are going to be like 250 kilograms plus the water in it. Basically, this area is too much weight in one bit. Plus the tiles on the wall, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. I'm just trying to get this to a point where I can kind of accept it, and that's just the way it is, because obviously I'm not going to be changing this whole lot, this section here. Just as a side note, my contractor told me that he makes more money off of materials than he does from actually working. And the merchants, they actually encourage it, because like on Travis Perkins, you go on there, they've got a markup calculator. And if you're like Joe Bloggs just off the street and you go into the builders merchants, they'll absolutely rip it out of you. They cunt everyone off. I don't understand it. You'd be better off just going like Wix or B&Q. But what I do is I just go straight to the manager and I say, right, this is what I want. And then he discounts everything down as if I'm a normal builder. The wall's going to run from there all the way up to this point, roughly here. In which case the plan is to basically build a pier there, drop the beams in, cut the blocks, whack them in there. This one is roughly 230 mil, and this side is 255. This is the wall side. So over here, they've sat them on trench blocks. That's a trench block there. And that mortar bed there is about 40 mil. Now remember the foundation was quite low on this side, so that's why they had to bump it up so much. I need to make a decision how I'm going to make up that height. In my secondary builder's yard, I've already pulled out one trench block. I'm also going to need this here. I'll need one of these as well. I also need this metal plate here. This is left over from when I done the flitch plate. That's where I put that flitch beam. My design, so much better than what it was supposed to be. Now I'm going to go for the trench block here. That's 215, so I need basically a 15 mil bed of mortar on the bottom. And then over this side, it should be 7.6 Newton strength because they was used on the main walls over there. I don't fancy doing a 40 mil bed, in which case I'll do a reasonable bed there, and then on top of that I'll do another bed, probably with rapid cement, and then I'll put a metal plate on top. So that'll effectively be like a spreader plate. You can use them instead of doing a pad stone when you put your steels in. Back in the day, this pipe here was put on this side of the beam, just here. The pipe would have been smack bang in the middle of the wall, but I moved it last minute, in which case there's a big hole here. So I'm just going to sort that out. I'm going to whack a couple of screws in, and that's why I got this as well. The most recent plan, I wasn't going to do this myself. I was going to pay a bricklayer to do it because I'm paying them to run my walls in, basically one block higher. I won't have a video this week if I don't actually do it myself. I've started 3 others. I can't finish them. This is the only thing that I can do. I'm not necessarily experienced in bricklaying. I've done it once. Can't be that hard, can it? It's just like tiling with bigger stuff, and I'm good at tiling. I've had to wait until later in the day to do this because this morning I got my rotator cuff trapped. I couldn't get it out for like 20 minutes or so. That was painful. It's still a bit dodgy now, but I managed to get it out. Lucky enough, I don't need to mix up that much mortar. Was thinking that I might need to build it up out of lay flat blocks and then engineering bricks, but lucky enough I found this, and that'll do over there. I've got my barrel ready. I've got some plasticizer, trowel. I'm just going to go for it. I've got extra rapid cement already open, so that'll do. I just need to get some builder sand. And this one's been here so long, there's an oak tree growing out of it. Right, this block, it's got a hump there, so I'm going to lay it the other way around. Hopefully my shoulder doesn't go. Trust me not to mix up enough to do this one. It's all right though, because I need about this much to put something underneath here, because that's a bit floating, isn't it? That's better. Right. Bit of damp course. Whack that on there. I painted this yesterday. Now we just need to get under here and just slide on. Oh, come on. That's gonna be about enough. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Right, let's get this done. Solid. This one's looking good. I've already got a damp course on that one. It's just literally under here. But even though I think they might be a couple of mil smaller than these ones I've already got in. And then over on this one, I will need to put the damp course in. I've left it a hair underneath there so I can slide some damp course in. But it's only literally about 3 mil underneath that beam. It's because the foundation finishes there, so I wasn't going to push it under even more. Just going to put some of this down now, sorted. Okay, these bad boys, they weigh 20 stone. If you remember last time, when I moved them in here, I nearly fucking done my legging, didn't I? So, strategy, don't know, just get it done. And we're in. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. So just down this side. That is pretty much level. Oh, I've got my foot stuck. And then over here it's the same. But in the middle. Look at that. They're like 10 mil higher. And the reason why that is because when they make the beams, they make them like that. Obviously that's exaggerated, but it's highest point in the middle there. It's just the same as when you do floor joists and you have to do the bow facing up. It's all about the tension on it and like, yeah. See, when they cast them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 metal tension rods that go through. And then they do them straight and then they cast it bowed. And then the tension in the steel and the concrete keeps it all solid. And talking of solid, I found this from another block and beam supplier. It says partitions can be built off the floor providing these have been allowed for in the design and are shown in the layout drawings. It is sometimes necessary to place either 2 or 3 beams together to carry the additional load, and in such cases care should be taken that partitions are built directly over these units, which must be concreted solidly together. So once I fill these with concrete, that is going to act as one unit and the wall will go directly bang on that middle beam. When they was doing it, I did ask them about what happened in these, and I kind of got a wishy-washy answer, but they started to fill them in with these. And then I said to the bricklayer's labourer, I said, look, at the end of the day, when you've got muck left over, just start filling these in because I'd rather have it like that. Hence these bits. Now with that, me knowing exactly what should be done, I kind of guess right. They should really know that. I do need to slurry this whole floor as well. That needs to be a 3-to-1 mix with sharp sand, and that kind of locks it all together. It acts as one unit rather than individual beans and individual blocks. Trouble is, I've left it so long, it's just full of shit. So I need to get all that out. I'll probably get my Hilti Hoover, just go all over it. But it's a good job I didn't slurry it before, because I would have really struggled getting them fucking beams in. I would have had to break the actual blocks out. Plus, I need to lift that floor over there, or part of it, so I can get underneath and then put in an extra soil pipe, because that wasn't done as well. Well, that's something I shouldn't have had to have done, but it's another job off the list. Just need to fill this with concrete, slurry the rest of the floor.